Hello and welcome to CAIE Grade 4 Math. The teachers for this video are Deanna Benedict and Peter Middleton. What will you learn in this video? You will learn clockwise and anti-clockwise, angles, ordered pairs, plotting shapes, length, area, perimeter and weight. Let's start with clockwise and anti-clockwise. You can see that there are two clocks in this slide. On the left, there is a clock and a blue arrow. The blue arrow is going clockwise round the clock. You can see the hands on the clock. They go 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the blue arrow goes the same way, the way that a hand goes round a clock. But on the right, you have got a different clock and the arrow is green. The green arrow is going anti-clockwise. It's not going the way that a clock goes. It's going from 12, 11, 10. So it's the opposite of clockwise. Here we have many different shapes, and we have an example of an angle. This angle is 90 degrees. And here we have more examples of 90-degree angles. You can see on the rectangle, it has got 4 different 90-degree angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see the other shapes? How many 90-degree angles do they have? Are there other angles in these shapes? Here we have got a grid, and on the grid they have two axes. There's the y-axis and the x-axis. The x-axis is going from left to right, and the y is going from down at the bottom to the top. And we can plot different shapes, like the triangle, using different coordinates. And here we have coordinates for animals. So there are different animals on this grid. There's a frog, a pig, a dog, a chick, and a ball. The grid coordinates for the dog are C4. We use the y-axis and we go 1, 2, 3, 4 up. And we use the x-axis and we go A, B, C to the right. So this dog is at C4. That's its grid coordinates. What are the grid coordinates for the chick? Can you tell me? Here we have lines of symmetry for different shapes. And you can see that different shapes have different lines of symmetry. A heart only has 1 line of symmetry, while a triangle has 3. A square has 4, and a circle has so many different types of lines of symmetry. Now on the right, you can see some shapes that have been half finished. Can you finish the shapes using this 1 line of symmetry? Can that shape have different lines of symmetry? What do you think? Now we're measuring length. You can see the ruler, and on this picture there is a purple paint, and the length of this paint is 7 centimeters. And we can measure using different measurements, for example, kilometer, meter, centimeter, and millimeter. There are also different ways to measure using different metrics and different measurements. So we will look at some of these later. But here on this slide, you can see the ways that you can measure using these units: kilometers, meters, centimeter, millimeters. This is a start to area, and we're counting the squares of different shapes. So can you see that there is a purple rectangle? It has got 84 squares. This is the area of the rectangle. And we can say that these shapes have different squares, and each square is 1 centimeter squared. It's 1 centimeter from the bottom to the top and 1 centimeter from the left to the right. And so all the way around the square is 1 centimeter for each side. And we say the area inside is 1 centimeter squared. Let's look at these shapes. Can you see the blue rectangle? It has 16 squares in it. So the area of this rectangle is 16 centimeters squared. Now we have the perimeter of a square, and how can we find the perimeter? We can count how many centimeters or meters or different measurements it takes to go round the shape. So you can see the square has the same shape for each side. So the perimeter, if we count the different numbers here, equals 8 centimeters, because it's 2 centimeters for each side. But the shape on the right, it doesn't have centimeters or millimeters. It has a different measurement. These are inches. Can you count how many inches it takes to go round this shape? What is the perimeter of it? And here we have different shapes. You can see that a square has the same size for each side, so it's easy to find the perimeter. For a rectangle, the length is the same, so two sides have the same length and two sides have the same width. In a triangle, the sizes are different for A, B, and C. Can you see the shapes at the bottom? You can see that the shape on the left has the area and one of the perimeters, but one perimeter is missing. Can you work this out? Also on the right, there is an area for the blue section and it has the perimeters. What is the area for the orange section? Can you work this out? Here we're measuring weights. We can measure different objects using our weights. On the left, there are scales. And you can see that there are potatoes. And they are measuring with the scales the potatoes. And the potatoes are 2 kilograms because they're at the same place on the scales. You can also use a different scales that are electric, and you can put the potatoes on top of it and it shows the weight on it there. Here are different examples of weights, and you can see that 500 grams equals 1,000 grams, and 1,000 grams is 1 kilometer. Here are different examples of scales that you can use. And you can see in one of these scales, it has so delicious fruit in it. Can you see how much they weigh? So what we learned in this video, we learnt clockwise and anti-clockwise. We learnt angles, ordered pairs, plotting shapes, length, area, perimeter, and weight. Thank you so much for joining this video. Goodbye.